Junction, Texas at 4:28 p.m. We'll make it to the campsite at around 9:30 p.m. in the town of Toroweap. It's about 345 miles away. We've got about 4 hours and 55 minutes. Got a wind advisory in effect. Pretty strong but dry cold front that's coming in from the northwest. And I'm going to be heading straight into it, but I think the winds are supposed to die down a little bit after the sun sets. So hopefully I timed it just right there. Okay, we are in Fort Stockton. Just got off the interstate. Gonna head over to Walmart. There's a gas station at the Walmart here, and I'm gonna grab some last minute supplies. And then it'll be south. Actually, no, I'll be going west a little bit further. Then the exit goes to Alpine. That's strange. It put me into limp mode as I'm pulling in here to this Walmart gas station. I wonder if it's just because I have such low fuel. Hopefully it's not for some other reason. Oh, ain't that something? They got these Electrify America charging stations here at the Walmart in Fort Stockton. But unfortunately I can't use it with the 4xe. It is the wrong connector type. This has the J1772, and this is like the fast charger. So, oh well. This is crazy. As soon as you go south out of Alpine, in like 5 or 10 minutes, there's no cell coverage, and there's no more vehicles on the road. Oh. Whoa. What the hell is that? I continue to make my way south on Texas Highway 118 towards the town of Toroweap, Texas, where I would spend the night at the Los Gringo RV Park. The reason I decided to stay at an RV campsite for my first night was I knew I would be getting in late, and it would be relatively easy to set up camp, and it would have a place that I could plug in my level 2 charger for my hybrid electric Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 4xe, so that I would have a full battery charge in the morning. Now this full battery charge won't allow me to run an all electric all day, but the 4xe is designed to get the best fuel economy when able to maximize electric charging. Well, the wind is here. Well, as you can see, it's morning. Mountains in Texas. See the inside of the Smittybilt Gen 2. It's a pretty roomy tent. I mean, I sleep in here with ample room. Going cheap and easy. I should have put 2. After leaving camp, I headed over to the nearby town of Study Butte to get some much-needed gas. From there, I entered Big Bend National Park. Shortly after, a right turn from the Maverick entrance station takes you down Old Maverick Road, which is a wide but washboardy dirt road that leads you to a few backcountry campsites and ends at the famous Santa Elena Canyon Overlook. All right. I think that's the only time I've ever been happy to be back on pavement. That road was just so rough. I needed to air down a lot more than I did.
Yeah, I have baby feet. I wear boots. We all wear shoes our entire lives, so. Yeah.
Hi. All right, the international boundary between the United States and Mexico cuts right through this canyon. So that side's Mexico, this side's the United States. But then it follows right here. So everything on that side's Mexico and everything on this side's the United States. This is the Rio Grande. Not really a lot of water in it right now. We're at this point. I am now working my way from Santa Elena Canyon over to the Panther Junction Visitor Center via the Ross Maxwell Scenic Drive. This scenic and fun-to-drive paved road snakes its way through some very interesting geographical features and is the starting point for many popular day hikes within the park. On the way to the Visitor Center, this road passes around the Chizos Mountains, which is the centerpiece of the entire park and gateway to its highest peaks and hiking trails. Although I would have liked to have visited this area, that will have to be saved for another trip because there simply was not enough time remaining. My number one goal of this trip was to go off-roading and remote camping along the historic Black Gap Road. To do this, a permit is required and can be obtained at the Panther Junction Visitor Center. These permits are required for any backcountry camping and for camping at designated primitive camping sites that lie along the park's many backcountry roads. The fee for this permit is a reasonable $10 per night, and although I picked mine up in person, they may also be obtained online by visiting www.recreation.gov. All right, just got the backcountry permit. We'll be staying at Fresno campsite. I wanted Glen Springs, but it was not available apparently, so they went ahead and gave me permission to camp at Fresno. I've looked at that site. It's very flat, kind of open. That's why I wanted Glen Spring more. But the good thing about it is it's closer to the Mariscal Canyon Trail. trailhead, which I plan to hike tomorrow morning, hopefully. At least that's the plan. Hopefully, we'll see how everything goes. Alright, making the turn onto Glen Springs Road from the Rio Grande Campground, or Rio Grande Village Drive. Glen Springs Road is a dirt road that will eventually take me to the unmaintained Black Gap Road, and after 20 miles of being off pavement, I will finally reach my destination at the campsite known as Fresno. It is here that the remoteness and vastness of Big Bend National Park make themselves increasingly apparent as you move further and further away from any signs of civilization. See that tree in a sea of desert? I believe that's one of the Glen Springs campsites. Probably get some good water there where the spring is. There's a fork in the road. You can go left and head down towards River Road, or you go right and it's Black Gap, and I believe that's a sign telling you that you need four-wheel drive and high clearance. Warning, 4x4 high clearance vehicle required. And they really mean it. And you might get pinstriping and mud on your tires. This overgrown water crossing is caused by the water runoff from nearby Glen Spring. It is a stark contrast to the desert environment that surrounds it and exemplifies just how important water is in the desert. Well, first time for everything. Not anything too technical, but some pretty gnarly rocks and ruts back there. They'll get you leaning pretty far one side or the other. I think we're getting close to the infamous Black Gap. Passing through the gap that takes you to Fresno. Alright, going on into Fresno. FR1. Nice little clearing there for a tent, ground tent. Pretty nice. Home away from home. Campsite comes with a bear box. Says you're in Bear and Javelina country. Bob. Okay, this is what complete total isolation looks like. 360 degrees, there is no one. The flashlight on this phone isn't working well. Here's the Jeep. Here's camp. It's crazy. You turn the light off. The moon's bright tonight. Here, let's liven this up a little bit. Whoa. This is enough to drive you crazy. Which some people say I already am. It's not even that late. It's only like 7:30 p.m. Not really a whole lot to do. I was maybe do some photography, night photography. The moon's kind of messing with that. Can't really shoot the Milky Way. Yeah, not too much to do. Just drink a beer. Maybe call it a night early. I want to do that hike to Mariscal Canyon tomorrow. Maybe I'll start early before sunrise to drive there. It's going to be about an hour to drive there. But yeah, it's crazy. It's really cool. I like the isolation, but then it's also creepy in a way. It's the first time I've ever done anything like this, just by myself in the middle of nowhere. Totally different than when you're like last night. I was at an RV park and it was still quiet, but you knew people were there. I don't know, it just gives you a level of comfort. Anyway, well, check back later. What is that? UFO. There it is. It's moving across the night sky. It's directly above me. Slowly. Is that the International Space Station? Or satellite? This is what made it all worth it. It's so beautiful this morning. Probably the most beautiful morning I've ever seen. The air is dead still. It's so quiet. You haven't had a cup of joe until you've had it out in the middle of nowhere on a calm morning like this. Wow. What an awesome view. You don't get that at an Airbnb. I just can't stress enough how awesome this is. Got birds flying. Steaming hot. Well, as much as I wanted to hang out all day at this beautiful campsite, it was time to pack things up and make my way south towards the Mariscal Canyon hiking trail. But first, a quick stop to check out the nearby Mariscal mine. Well, not to always quote my favorite YouTuber, but adventure is afoot. And my feet took a number of steps to come up here to the Mariscal mine. Not that many. The Jeep is right there. Great view. The campsite where we stayed last night is just above the Jeep, right about there. Beautiful, and what a cool site. This used to be an old mine. We're standing on the tailings of that mine right here. So much to explore and see. Nice little campsite there. I was kind of wondering why I was heading towards Santa Elena Canyon. Then I looked on the map. I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. At that campsite, the road going to Mariscal Canyon down here, or Tally number 2, but the Mariscal Canyon Trail starts there. I missed it. I don't know how. I didn't even see the split off, but this is why I have such sophisticated navigation equipment for times like this. Well, I'm turned around and heading back north until I reach that junction. But just look at this view. You can't. That is amazing. Looking back towards the Chizos. I think that's like the south rim. I'd like to really do that someday. Maybe more when on another trip, or when it's maybe a little bit warmer down here and cooler up there. Okay, here's the turn I should have made. I thought it was like taking me into their campsite. Just, but yeah, the other one's called Tally. So now we're going the right way. Traffic jam. All right. It says park here, leave no valuables. Unless I can take the entire Jeep with me. After 11 miles of off-pavement driving, I made it to the Mariscal Canyon Rim trailhead. There's no doubt that the remoteness of this area and the fact that the trail can be an all-day affair have prompted such signs about vehicle break-ins and theft. The trail takes you up the side of Mariscal Canyon to a very impressive viewpoint of the canyon and Rio Grande River over 1,000 feet below. The first couple miles of the trail are relatively easy, but there's no shade and lots of exposure to the elements. The last mile of the trail sees an 1,100-foot elevation gain that can be up to 30% grade in some spots, and trail finding can sometimes be difficult. I would not recommend this trail for those with marginal physical fitness abilities. Although with some willpower and careful planning, one can manage to accomplish this trail and marvel at its awesome view. Think I have enough gear? This trail is nicely marked by these rock cairns that are occasionally on the side of the trail. You can see there's another one up there. I'd say this trail is probably best hiked in winter, as even right now in January, after having lows in the upper 20s, it's pretty toasty with just the sun beating on you and nothing but rocks, no shade. I'll tell you, this trail is quiet and peaceful. There's not a soul out here. I just realized I forgot a major piece of equipment back at the Jeep. I brought a lot of gear, first aid kit, GPS, cameras, water, plenty of water, food, snacks, even extra socks. But one thing I forgot was a headlamp or flashlight. And I do have my phone, but it's currently at 30%. I don't know if it would last I started the trail at noon, so there's about 6 hours of daylight. But if for whatever reason don't get off this mountain in time, it's going to be pitch black, and there's probably parts of this trail that are hard to navigate. At least the moon's been out at night. That might help. Hopefully it won't come to that. Keep pressing on here. Look who's just over yonder. Here's the trail. I wonder if they've been leaving their breadcrumbs. They seem to take this path too. I wonder what they're gonna do. Okay. They don't want anything to do with me. Well, then they're crazy humans. Okay, it's starting to climb now. After hiking a good mile and a half in relatively flat terrain, now I'm gonna start going up the mountain. Taking a little pit stop. Getting hot. Whew. Oh. So far, gone 2 miles. Total moving time 44 minutes, total time 56 minutes, average speed 2.1 miles per hour, currently at 2145 feet in elevation, and I've only ascended 218 feet. But you can see it's the stretch to go is short, only about a mile, but that looks to be pretty good elevation climb. So here we go. So much for going up. We've gone back down into this little valley here. That last part's going to be brutal. It doesn't look very steep, but it's a pretty long, steady climb. Especially if you're out of shape like me. Oh, it sucks. You just have to keep telling yourself, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Drink plenty of fluid, take breaks. I'm looking forward to going back down already. Okay, I've made it to a little bit of a clearing right before you reach the steepest part of this trail. It goes off that way, but I can't even see where it goes after that. might be some scrambling involved here. Either way, this is the hardest part. It saves the hardest part for like the last 10th of the trail. And once you get up on that plateau, it probably evens out. But I don't know how people do Guadalupe Peak. Maybe it's because that trail is steeper in the beginning and then it tapers off. But I think overall that's more elevation gain than this. So hats off to all you people that do that trail. And whoever chimes in and says that's an easy trail, I think they're just a troll. Because the average person, it'd be pretty tough. But views are excellent, even from up here. You can see the Rio Grande down there. And you can see spots here where people have camped, you know, backpacking, tents. This is a good clearing for that. All right, moving on. Whew. Well, I found the only bit of shade that I've seen on this entire trail, and I'm going to take advantage of it. Oh man, we're not completely to the top yet, but really close. But check out this view. You can see part of the trail right there. And also I came around this trail, part of the trail is right there. It goes around that plateau right near the beginning. And all that's before you hit this mountain. This is literally like climbing a mountain to see the canyon. And if you look far enough, the Rio Grande carves right through that at Santa Elena Canyon, way on the other side of the park. Over here is the main Chizos Mountains. You can see elephant tusk right there, the one we could see from our camp last night. It's now overshadowed by the mountains behind it. That's how much higher up we are. And of course, the Rio Grande snakes its way right there. Beautiful day, gorgeous day. Even though it's hot in the sun, in the shade, the breeze is cool. What little shade there is. All right, let's go. I believe I'm nearing the end, or the overlook, I should say, not the end. This trail does continue on. I think that's the canyon right there. Oh boy. Hold on, let me just get a glimpse. Wow. That is amazing. It just goes down and down. That is awesome. Okay, so these rocks point to going this way. What an awesome trail. It's one of those things you're cussing at yourself for doing right in the middle of it, thick of it. And then once you do it, you can't imagine yourself not doing it. It becomes a part of you, like a limb. Oh yeah, look at this. Sheer rock face. Just about. Whoa. And you can see the river down there. You wouldn't want to be caught here without a flashlight. Incredible. This is awesome. I don't know if you can hear that echo, but it echoed for quite a bit. Echo! Sorry for the audio. A little bit of a breeze up here, which feels nice after all that. Oh my God, it feels nice. It's awesomeness, you can't really capture it on film. Your eyes pick up so many other, there's so much more they pick up than the camera can. Whew. Oh, well shoot. I didn't even make it all the way to the camera viewing point, or the binocular viewing point. How's this for a little washout? I'm sure when it rains, this turns into a waterfall of some kind. With the river over 1,000 feet below. Water's pretty calm now. I've hiked over to the place that the map said was the actual viewing point. The view looks about the same, but you can get closer to some of these cliff faces. Okay, I have some stats I want to share with you from the hike. Total time it took from the parking lot to here, 2 hours and 30 minutes. That was a total distance of 3.35 miles. That included taking video of me hiking and going back to get the camera and retrieving it. So that added some there. It also added some time. The moving time was 1 hour 35 minutes. Stopped time was 55 minutes. That included stopping at the first part of the overlook and then hiking this way. The total ascent was 1,150 feet. Average speed 1.3 miles per hour. The average moving speed 2.1 miles per hour. The pace 45-minute mile. But man, towards the end, the pace slows down because you want to take a lot of breaks. And know that you don't have to go the entire hike, although the main reason to hike this, I think, is this canyon view. Other than that, it's desolate. There's no shade. There's some decent views, but the higher you go, the better the views are. So just keep that in mind. And definitely do this in winter. I don't know who would do this trail in the heat of summer. Only thing left is to go down the trail before the sun sets. It's 2:36 p.m. So I got plenty of daylight left. Just have to be careful going down, but hopefully that'll go a lot smoother. I'm gonna hang out up here and just kind of soak it in, all in for a little bit. I just ran into a guy going up the trail. Said his name was Jeff, I believe. He said he has a buddy that's a little bit further back that he might not go all the way up. I don't blame him. There's so many times I felt like stopping. Like this is enough torture. But persevered. Now it's just getting down off the mountain. Leftover sausage from this morning. Well, Jeep is here and in one piece. Can't complain. That was one hell of a hike.